Is PlayStation going multi-platform? Also, we talk about the Game Awards, Sonic's animation company, and the Xbox Series X. Oh, we got a lot to say. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? My name is Canadian Guy A, and I am joined by my co-host Shemp for another episode of Wumpa TIme.
Hi!
Hi! So, we got a quick bit of news, and Shemp, you're going to start us off with an interesting fan game.
Yes, so I literally just learned about this, like minutes before recording this podcast. So I threw this in last minute. There is a Little Big Planet PC fan game called Little Big Planet Restitched, and I don't know much about it, but I saw the gameplay trailer, and it is literally one for one a exact recreation of Little Big Planet, and I'm amazed because Little Big Planet was such a big part of my life growing up. So seeing this just being made for the PC really excites me, and I'm hoping they add more, like all the. I'm not sure if you've ever played Little Big Planet.
I did. I played 1 and 2, I believe. Yes.
Okay, so what I'm hoping is that they add a lot of the stuff from 2, like the sackbots and the logic and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I think I might be streaming that depending on how much in development that gets. But I am extremely excited for it.
I mean, with it being on PC too, making custom levels and stuff would become so much easier and have much more commands and shortcuts and stuff that
exactly. And the custom like stickers and like the new community objects and all that stuff, it makes it a lot easier because you were dealing with the limitations of the PS3, so levels would they would lag if you put too much in there.
Exactly. But now
so
you're just
this
dealing
is
with
exciting
PCs now. Yeah, that actually sounds really hype. And you know what? Within that fan game, there could be more games. Like, you know, you got like Dreams and stuff where you got
exactly.
So you got games within games within games, and that's almost like becoming its own genre, like game engine games. Almost, it's weird but awesome all in the same like breath.
It makes it easier for people to try new games. We're gonna have a bunch of new future developers, which is nice.
Yeah, that's actually really, really cool. That's what's happening with Dreams as well. Now, there's a new title that's heavily rumored to come to Switch, and you're not going to believe what that title is. So, you know that meme of put everything on Switch? Yeah. This basically falls under that meme. Halo has been heavily rumored to come to the Nintendo Switch. Like, the Halo.
The one and only.
The one and only, the Halo man, Master Chief himself, is apparently going to be coming to Switch. Now, I don't know if you knew this either, but something else to kind of add more gasoline to the fire is that, you know how they have a tendency to bring characters that are from the game, from like Nintendo games or whatever, into Smash? Well, there was apparently online it might have been just a test, but the voice actress for Cortana leaked of her talking about, and it was the voice actress of her saying that there was an invite from a guy named Mario to an event called Super Smash Brothers, and her talking to Master Chief about it.
Did she like delete it like immediately?
It's floating. I heard it the other night.
Oh, you actually heard it?
I actually heard it, and it's her. It's legitimately her. After the podcast, I'll send it to you because it's... Oh my. I'm listening. I'm like, that's her. Either that is the best impersonator I have ever heard, or that's her. So
see, the thing is, I can actually see Halo on the Switch. I don't know why. I just feel like it fits in there. Maybe, you know, I'm so used to the hype, the really good graphics, but maybe dumbing down the graphics and making it slightly more cartoony might add a different look to it, where it still has a Halo look, but, you know, down res for Nintendo, right? I'm imagining they're gonna be porting the Master Chief like versions of it if they do. So you could click the stick and then go back to the original Xbox version. But oh my god, that's scary to think about.
Speaking of scary, you got
Disney likes to throw the ban hammer a lot. So Disney allowed the DRM to expire on a Tron game that people still played a lot called was it Tron Evolution? Yeah. So Tron Evolution was a PC game that people played a lot, and Disney kind of allowed the DRM to expire, so millions of physical copies of that game are rendered useless because you put it in and it'll try to activate the license and it can't find the license, so now you just can't, the game just refuses to start. And from what I read, Disney was aware of this and just kind of let it happen. So
this is the way gaming is going, and it's scary.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of other games do this, because I found I recently found a physical copy of Command & Conquer 4, and I was like, I used to play that a lot as a kid. I wonder what the fourth one's like, because I never played it, and I popped into my PC, and it was like, can't find the serial key has expired, and I was like, oh great, so you just can't play this anymore. So the same thing's happening to Tron, and the Tron r/Tron subreddit is kind of imploding.
Well, yeah, no kidding. But I mean, just like there was a fan game made of Little Big Planet, maybe there'll be some form of a fan game to come back for Tron, maybe.
Or fan servers or something, maybe through what's that service called? Like Games Radar. That's what people use for all the GameSpy games.
I mean, it's entirely possible that the game could come back. But speaking of a comeback...
Yeah, speaking of comebacks, ooh.
Yeah. Telltale has made a comeback, and their comeback game is The Wolf Among Us 2. Shocked us all at the Game Awards. A lot of people were shocked. People didn't understand how it would make sense. And it turns out they're back, I guess.
Yeah. From what I know, I think it was the Malibu-based game company LCG Entertainment. They bought Telltale and all of the assets that were part of it, but a couple of IPs expired. I think it was Minecraft and Marvel, all the Marvel stuff.
Right.
But I think Telltale was a subsidiary under Warner Brothers or something. But they still have Batman and The Wolf Among Us. And people were super upset whenever Telltale shut down, because The Wolf Among Us, I never played it, but apparently it ended on this like big setup for a sequel and people wanted it. And
yeah, my wife played it. Yeah, my wife played it and was talking to me a lot about it, and I own it and I haven't played it yet. But I mean, it looks kind of cool, and I have no idea. I have no idea what it's about, but I mean, the fact that there's a sequel coming and it's coming back with the comeback of Telltale, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And I wanted to know what projects, because they had a lot. I don't know if you knew this, but they had a Stranger Things game in development, and it leaked. Netflix wasn't happy, and I think Netflix fined them $1 million in damages.
Yikes.
Yeah, so that was probably a big leading factor into their
maybe it revealed
downfall.
it might have revealed a piece of a story that was like hasn't been announced yet, at the time maybe there was like they were talking about a story piece of the Upside Down or whatever that wasn't revealed in the franchise.
No. So Netflix was ruthless. The fact that the name was even mentioned, it was the reason that they fined them. Like nothing was leaked besides the fact that they're making it.
Ouch.
Yeah, and Netflix was like, all right, you're under an NDA. You can't say anything until this specific date. And then rumors were like, Telltale is rumored to be working on Stranger Things. And then Netflix is like, all right, here's your $1,000 fine or $1 million
fine. Wow. That's harsh, man.
That's a little
harsh.
That's too much.
Yeah. So let's move on to the main topics of today's podcast. We're going to start with allegedly PlayStation is going multi-platform. Shep, take the floor with this, because you have told me that there's a title that apparently is rumored to be coming to PC or something like that, or did I mishear you, or what's the rumor?
So not really a title, so it's kind of a mixture of things. So the big running joke with Xbox was that none of their exclusives are exclusives to the Xbox because you can also play them on PC. So it's like,
Right.
why would I buy a $400 Xbox One X when I can play Gears 5 on my budget laptop at low settings?
Right.
That was kind of the argument. And the argument was like, oh, PS4. I want to buy a PS4 so I can play games like God of War and Uncharted and Little Big Planet, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man, only on PlayStation. That's the whole, it says this. It's only on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So recently, a couple of PlayStation games have been making their way onto the Epic Games Store and I think Steam. One big one you might know is Detroit Become Human.
Yes, I heard about that. Detroit Become Human going to PC.
That's already on PC. Like you can buy that right now, and it's like $40. On one of the big sticklers with PlayStation is that they were very anti crossplay. For whatever reason, they were like, hey, the Fortnite fan base on PS4 alone is like 3 million, so we're doing good. And I was like, okay, I guess it's a fair point. So they started slowly enabling crossplay throughout the course of 2 years, and there is this new Minecraft update that it's called the Bedrock Edition, basically, and it allows crossplay. So if you own Minecraft. Minecraft before, you'll get the update and you get the free Bedrock Edition. You can crossplay. But in order for you to crossplay, you are required to sign in to an Xbox Live account.
Yeah, because Mojang is owned by Microsoft. Yes,
but the thing is, if you look at any of the older copies of Minecraft, it was published by Sony. Like, there was no mention of Microsoft anywhere. It wasn't published by Microsoft. All it said was Mojang, because Mojang was the developer. So that was the whole thing.
Right.
Minecraft was published by Sony on the PS4, and the new one is published by Mojang or something like that. But if you look on the back of the box, it says Xbox Game Studios, which is really weird to see an Xbox logo on the PS4. And in order to play on the PS4, you need an account for the competitor. So the fact that you bought PlayStation Plus to play online, you also need an account for the Xbox.
Interesting.
And I don't know if the Switch does that, because I know the Switch is cross-platform.
I'm not sure either. I'm trying to think of why PlayStation would do that. Like maybe they're getting comped by Microsoft on the back door because of it.
Either that, or maybe Microsoft is looking for something in return, because I don't know if you heard, but there were some deals going on behind closed doors that Xbox and PlayStation are in an agreement for PlayStation to use Xbox's servers for PlayStation Now. So maybe that's kind of like a, hey, we'll sell you our stuff, but here's what we want to do.
No, it wasn't their servers. It was their blue Navi technology.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah, it was the Navi technology so that they could build better servers. It's PlayStation servers, but instead of using Sony branded products, they were using Microsoft branded products. However, in exchange, Microsoft was going to get the disc readers from Sony, because Sony's disc readers was one of the reasons why the PlayStation was better in some sense than the original Xbox One was.
So it's just big business doing big business,
right? And I got a feeling there's something going on behind the scenes to comp each other.
Oh yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, I don't know if you mentioned this on the podcast or before when we were talking, but yes, Horizon is coming to PC. Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC.
Is it confirmed or rumored? Because I know Death Stranding is confirmed.
Yes, that's another one. Death Stranding.
Yeah, Death Stranding has been confirmed. Has Horizon Zero Dawn been confirmed to come to PC 100%?
From what I remember, yes, Horizon has, and another Sony exclusive that's already been on PC for a while is Journey. Like that's on there.
Yeah, I feel like though too that Sony owns certain I think what's going to happen is the studios that Sony own is maybe theirs, because I don't think they own Kojima. They don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right, I don't think they do, and I don't think they own the company that made Detroit Becomes Human. I don't think so.
So that one is Quantum Dream. I don't think so. I think so. That's what we call. I think we call
second
them
party.
Second party. Yes,
those are second party games, right? The first party games are the games that Sony owns the IP. Sony owns the studio. Sony's first party is they run the whole pipeline. They own the development. They own the publishing. They own everything from from front to end, they own everything, right? They own the bloody console, right? They own the console, they own the company, they own the IP. There's, but if there's only two things, not the full three, then it's a second or third party. So that is, but I thought they owned Guerrilla Games. And are you sure that if Horizon Zero Dawn, are you 100% sure? Because I thought
I'm going to double check. So I'm going to double check for what I remember seeing a lot of
because I remember the person that what I read was the leaker that came forward that said that Death Stranding was going to come to PC came forward and said that he heard that Horizon Zero Dawn will also be coming to PC as well. But I mean, Horizon, but I got a feeling that PlayStation will be like, people will still want to buy the PlayStation because they're bringing Horizon Zero Dawn, which came out in 2017, 2016?
Yeah, to PC. So I think PC. Because I know Xbox is focusing more on games as software, so they're focusing more on their games rather than their hardware, because God knows our hardware isn't selling that well. So that's why you see their exclusives coming to PC.
And don't worry, everyone, we're going to be talking about hardware, Xbox hardware in a little bit.
You guys wait. But I just looked it up. Guerrilla Games is owned by Sony. That is their parent. Because they were founded in 2000, and I think they were making like sports games. No, they weren't making sports games. They made Medieval. I don't know if you know this.
Really?
Yeah, they were originally Sony Cambridge.
Huh.
And they made Medieval, and they also made Medieval Resurrection. So that's another thing. Well,
that's new.
And like you said, yes, they did all the kill zones. So they've been developing software for PlayStation companies like Naughty Dog has. Naughty Dog develops tech for all of PlayStation's companies. Right,
and they made the Decima engine, which was famously used as a nice story for Death Stranding.
Yes,
which was something that something that is very interesting that we do got to talk about, because we talked about this before in a previous stream about the Game Awards, and now we got to talk about it now with the Game Awards. So the first thing I do want to say is I'm happy that Death Stranding didn't necessarily sweep the awards, but it won three awards.
Was it 3? I thought it was 2. I know it was Best Audio, Best Director, and something else. Best Actor.
Mads Mikkelsen or whatever his name is.
Yes.
I can't remember it.
Norman Reedus.
Not Norman Reedus, which I was shocked by. But I mean, I think that was probably like an obvious. I don't know, maybe it was an obvious choice here, but the Game Awards. Oh boy! Did you watch it?
Yes. So first off, I want to apologize to everyone for me being cynical and thinking Death Stranding was going to win everything, because you guys voted otherwise.
Yeah, you guys voted otherwise.
And it's good to see that the Game Awards isn't actually kind of influenced by people behind the doors like the Emmys and the Oscars. So that's nice. Good on Jeff Keighley and his team. But God, what happened? Wow. Okay, so we played him in the back of the store. Like it was 7:30 for us, and I was at work, and we closed at 9. So we played it in the back of the store for everyone to watch. And I mean, when they started with that Death Stranding music performance, I was like, okay, yeah, I can dig this.
I liked it. And the pre-show was pretty good too. Like they were like, "Hey, we got Final Fantasy VII for the pre-show, and No More Heroes 3." Man, they set a high bar for that pre-show. The pre-show.
Yeah, I think they announced like everything like good at the pre-show.
It was like, here's a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII. And I was just like, oh wow, this is really good. And then it was like, okay, I was like, if you put Final Fantasy VII in the pre-show, man, you gotta have something big for the actual show.
Fast and Furious, bro. I was so underwhelmed. Let's not forget, the Game Awards is an award show. It's not an E3.
Right.
But when it is hyped up by the host for all of the new things that are going to be announced, he said, quote, there are 15 new things that were going to be announced, all new projects. I was like, awesome. And do you remember when he said on Twitter, hey guys, tune into the Game Awards, Sonic's going to make an appearance?
Yep. I read that myself.
Did he? Did he?
Actually, technically he did.
Oh, don't do that. Don't say technically.
Technically. No, he technically did. You know how he showed up?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So let's start from the beginning of the show so everyone can kind of make sense. So pre-show, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Then the show opens up. And the one thing that I don't like was these quick awards that they were doing.
Yes, I know. Okay, I was going to get into that too. I thought that was just for the pre-show, but that was the whole show.
Yeah, that they handed out probably, 4 or 5 awards maybe?
Yeah. And like the big ones, like best performance and best audio engineer or best audio design.
It was just a casual, like, oh yeah, there it is.
Best audio design, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. 1, 2, 3. All right, next category.
Yeah, that was it. But like last year they did that too, but they did it for the minor stuff. Like, okay, best esports player, okay, or best they did that. I was like, okay, that's fine. I get that for the small stuff, but best actor is just a casual comment.
Yeah, it was just kind of. It's like if you went to the Emmys and it was like, all right, the best animated movie ever, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. All right, next up we have best score.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. And I was just like, what? What do you mean? They didn't even walk up to accept the award, giving a speech, nothing. It was just a casual comment. Like, oh yeah, by the way, best thing. Okay, we're going to move on. And there were so many commercials. Dude,
oh my God.
Commercials.
I know why they did the quick awards is because they wanted to squeeze in more time for advertisements.
Yeah.
But, just extend the show.
Yeah, or then, okay, fine. You got advertisements. Fine, I get you have advertisements. Don't repeat them. They just kept repeating, like, the same games.
The same Stadia. Stadia ad.
When I saw the Stadia ad, I almost wanted to vomit. But I almost wanted to punch Jeff because, like, how disingenuous do you have to be where you have to turn around and say, oh, yeah, we're going to advertise Stadia. Yeah, this is perfectly fine. And knowing that Stadia right now is in hot water, knowing that everyone is laughing maniacally at Stadia's failures, including us on this podcast, I think almost every single episode that we've talked about Stadia in some way, shape, or form. And here we are again, talking about the Game Awards, and there's Stadia, sticking out like a sore thumb, making me lose. I mean, I streamed this last night with over 1,100 people watching. And
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, 1,100 people and the disappointment was immeasurable because here was the problem. Jeff hyped this show up to have 15 announcements, okay? 15 announcements, and I'm all for new games. I'm also all for indies. I'm for all these things. I'm so happy for that.
Yes.
But when you have a multi-million-dollar production put together and you say we're showing this is the biggest game show we've ever had, ever's best epic, thing ever, and 10 out of 13 of the announcements were indies or projects that we've never heard of before, and show literally nothing. Like, the worst trailer was Prologue. Do you remember seeing the trailer?
I don't remember half the things that were announced.
Exactly. You know what Prologue was? It was when the whole studio went black. It was in the point of view of somebody. They saw something in the rain. They screamed, and the screen went black. It said Prologue. Check the rest out on the website.
Oh, like yeah, you're right. Yeah,
and I was just like, what was that? That's not a trailer.
Just because you showed that, I'm not going to check it out.
Yeah, you have to interest me. Like, okay, have a crazy creature show up and scream at the screen, and like, whoa, what is that? Check it out online. Shoot, it was just a point of view shot of them looking around in a forest, raining, and then it goes black. Check the rest out online.
No, if you're not going to put the effort into paying for you to show me the whole thing, I'm not going to look at the whole thing because you don't care. Why should I care?
And why should I go check out your game online when the gameplay that you literally just showed was something that I could do in the summertime at night? Go out in the back and, yep, this is a dark forest in the rain. Yep,
check it out at youtube.com/CanadianGuy.
Basically. And, oh my gosh, and they're like showing these games. I'm like, okay, it's neat, I guess, but I was like, come on, man. And then the pacing.
Oh my, dude. I cannot, the entire time at the store and at home, I was hoping and basically praying are they going to announce the new Arkham game? Because Warner Brother has been teasing it. Like they've teased it on their Twitter page, and everyone thinks it's going to be called Arkham Legacy or something. And I was like, okay. They've been mentioning Canada a lot. Linus Tech Tips is sponsoring the Game Awards. He's there like 5 times. It's Canada. Warner Brothers Montreal is making the new Batman game. Montreal's in Canada. There's no reason it shouldn't be announced. And it wasn't there.
There was nothing. Yeah, there was nothing there. There was so many issues with the Game Awards. Where do we even begin? There was like 3 bright spots. So the one bright spot was, but also a negative, which we talked about, was Crash Team Racing won best sports and racing game, which I'm happy about. I was so happy, but it was said in casual passing. They're like, oh yeah, Crash Team Racing wins. Okay, moving on.
I love that Jeff Keighley was like, and the winner is Crash Team Racing Nitro Food, which was announced last year at the Game Awards. All right, next.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, right? It's like, why? Like, okay, why are you being so casual with that? Yeah, no kidding, right? So that I had 3 expectations and only one was met, which was Crash Team Racing were to win. And then the other bright spot was the sequence with the Muppets and the Untitled Goose. Like, that was hysterical.
That was awesome.
And I was like, yes, this is great. I thought that brought hope back to me for the shows. It's like, yes, at the halfway point.
This is adorable.
This is adorable. This is funny. This is great. I love this. And then it was like after the Untitled Goose Game segment, everything just died.
Oh,
a horrible, fiery, exploding death.
I love that everyone was hyping up like, oh, I want to see the new Crash game get announced at the Game Awards like CTR was. And then the only on-screen representation of Crash was during the Green Day performance where they showed him in the warp room for like 2 seconds.
2 seconds, man. That 2 seconds, that's a lot more than what I saw.
Oh, really? You blink and you miss it, man.
You blinked and you missed it, right? And then Sonic showed up for the Green Day, and it was just like, it comes down to, and everyone was talking about the same thing, was that I think the biggest highlight, which we're going to talk about in a second, but before we get to that, it was the Xbox. The new Xbox. I'm refusing to call it the name right now because, man, is it dumb. But we'll get to there in a second. So when they revealed... Oh, no, before that, sorry. So when they talked about the final game that they're going to reveal, the final game.
Oh, don't bring it back up.
Oh, I'm bringing it back up.
Don't bring it back up.
I'm doing it.
So
I'm doing
bad.
it.
I was like, oh, Batman.
Here comes the grand reveal. The grand reveal of what could it be? Could it be Crash? Could it be Batman? Could it be footage? Could it be the new God of War? Could it be Spider-Man? Could it be Horizon Zero Dawn 2?
Uncharted 5.
Uncharted 5. Could it literally be anything? Could it be Pikmin 4? The game that... Could have been Metroid Prime 4. Please, something. And they come out, and here comes this girl, and she's just like, we got a trailer. She didn't even, like try to hype it up or anything, or try to, and here it is, the final trailer. It's like, yeah, so, the final show that we got is, the final trailer is, Fast and the Furious. When I heard... when those words came out of her mouth... I thought I was about to... dude, I thought I was about to start spitting nails. I was...
I was so upset. I was so mad.
I felt like the bald guy from the Blizzard Q&A of Diablo. Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No, my mentality was, okay, they're going to pull a fast one on us. This is allegedly the last one, but Jeff Keighley's going to be like, oh, what's this? A new last-minute thing? Check it out. Oh, it's Crash Bandicoot in Batman. Whoa.
Yeah,
but Jeff Keighley, he just comes out and he's like, all right, that's it. Later.
Oh, but the best.
See you later, man.
And then they're like, oh, yeah, we have a very special guest. A very, very special guest. Lo and behold... We got the first person you think of when you think of gaming.
Neil Druckmann?
Diesel. No, Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel comes out, and what transpired I almost wanted to die right on the spot. And like, I
can't believe we're with our people. Epic gamers. We're so epic. Are you epic? Yeah, I'm epic. Oh my God, we're so epic.
I don't like saying the word cringe because a lot of people use it. But this was the one time I'm like, this is the definition of cringe. It's bad. This is our people. And then the best, did you hear what she said, the game that she played when she was a kid? Did you hear what she said?
No, I was just so upset. What did she say?
Oh, man. She's like, man, I remember when I was a kid, I used to play Tekken.
That's why I don't remember it.
Your brain shunned it because...
She meant Tetris, right?
Yeah, Tekken. I'm like, oh, great. Tekken. Great.
I also love the thing that Vin Diesel threw in, like, you won't believe last night I got to watch the 4-minute Fast 9 trailer. And my first thought was like, you better not. I swear to God, you better not show it. Do not subject me to 4 minutes of Fast and Furious.
No,
I am already as mad as I can be.
Oh man, I'm not fast, but I'm certainly furious. And oh my gosh. And then the trailer they released this PS3 graphic.
Yeah, I know! I was just about to say that!
I'm looking at the graphics, I'm like, this looks terrible. This looks awful.
I was like, is this a PS3 game that got like canned and then they were like, let's just finish it?
It looks awful. I'm looking at it and I'm like, they're like, yeah, look at the graphics of Vin Diesel's wrinkles in his face. I'm like, there is no wrinkles. There's nothing.
Are you talking about like the clay model that they got? Like the old PS3 model?
Like, here's the thing. Look at Death Stranding. Look how they were able to put these people that look so identical into the game. Like, you look at the game, you're like, that looks exactly like Norman Reedus, right? That looks exactly like Mads. You can see the actor, right? And they did face scans. And then you got this game, and it looks like they made it out of Play-Doh. And yeah, done.
It looks like they did like the old the Mario Paint trick where you take a picture of your face and then you just like throw it on a 3D model.
Oh my God, that's what it looked like. And it was like, this is terrible. And this is your final reveal? This is your final...
I want to know what, because ultimately it all comes down to, it all comes down to a paycheck. Who, if you're willing to pay for the time, will show it. And I guess Universal or whoever just was like, here's a fat check for Fast and Furious at the very end, and they're like, well, we got you, man.
Oh, but the pacing of the show is so bad. Like, okay, if you're gonna be the Game Awards and you want to be flexing the fact that you are amazing and stuff, I can barely count 3 titles that I'm hyped for from it. And
honestly,
of course, when I saw No More Heroes 3, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I was like, oh man, that's so awesome. And the trailer that they did for it was really cool, but I'm having a hard-pressed time. Some people were hyped about, what was it, Sons of the Forest, I think it was?
Yeah, it's just like, how can there be like extra like add-on DLC for a game that's still in early access?
I have no idea, man. I don't understand.
How can they afford a spot at the Game Awards?
There's so many problems with the Game Awards this year. And here's the thing. Last year's Game Awards, awesome. And that's not because of CTR. That wasn't because of CTR.
It was really good. They gave time to the people who got awards. It wasn't just like, all right, the best game is Sekiro. Anyways, next category.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something else. We were completely wrong. We thought Death Stranding or RE2 was going to win. Sekiro came out of nowhere, and I'm very happy that Sekiro won.
Right, but Sekiro didn't win any other award other than Game of the Year. That's why I was kind of like, huh?
Okay, to be fair, if you were to walk away with one award, I would be as ecstatic if it was just Game of the Year. That's
of course. But if you think about it, like, look at last year when they had God of War. God of War won a few other awards as well. It won best audio, it won best narrative, and then it won something else, and then it won Game of the Year. Right? It didn't win the most awards, but it won the most prestigious one, and that's fine. I get that. But the fact of the matter was that Sekiro didn't win Best Narrative, Sekiro didn't win Best Audio, Sekiro didn't win anything, and then all of a sudden they walk away with Game of the Year. I'm confused by that, right? So they didn't excel in anything, but they did overall the best.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I guess it's just people who vote. Like, you vote for your favorite game.
Well, no, it's not by people. It's people only the public vote is only considered for 10%. The rest is decided by critics. Yeah.
Come on. I'm surprised RE2 didn't win anything.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion there, but the pacing of the show was awful because what should have been the last thing that was revealed. The last thing that should have been revealed, which was revealed in the first quarter of the show. That's why I was so hyped for the show as well. They announced the new Xbox
mini fridge. Oh wait, no. Sorry, we're talking about the console, right?
The console, yes.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot of mixed feelings.
Me too.
So first off, why don't we talk about the positive? Let's talk about the positive first and get it out of the way.
So they showed a game, Hellblade 2, out of nowhere.
Oh my gosh, the graphics,
dude! We were in the store. No one was in the store besides us, and I was like, "Is this filmed? Like, is this like a live action portion?" And then at the bottom of the screen, it said in-game footage, and I was like, "No, it's not.
There's no way.
Don't lie to me."
The only thing that gave it away for me was the texturing on the leather and the light reflecting off of it. That was the only thing I looked at. That looks a little bit like, but that was just because she moved. And yeah, it was so weird because I think we've now entered not what is it? Uncanny. There's Uncanny Valley. I think that trailer passed it because I thought it was real. I thought it was real.
I thought the whole thing was filmed. I thought it was like a live action trailer.
Yeah, just enhanced with CGI. That was it. But no, it was that was all rendered allegedly. I want to say allegedly because they've always said, rendered in game, right? Et cetera,
I've seen Watch Dogs.
Right, exactly. But even if gaming can get even 3/4 of the way of what they were able to achieve there on launch, I'm super excited.
I'm excited, not gonna lie, a little bit scared too, because for me, in 2016, when I saw Uncharted 4, I was like, we've peaked. We can't get any better. The games looked too good. Nathan Drake looks like a dude. Looks like a regular dude. There's no way we can peak. And then here comes Hellblade 2, like, hey, I want you to pick, is this a picture or a screenshot of the game? Got you. They're both the same.
Yeah. That I can't tell. I couldn't tell. I was seriously shocked by how realistic it was, right? It was like, this looks real. This, because you can tell with games, you can tell right away, oh yeah, this is a game.
Yeah, you can see like spec maps and all kinds of rough textures and rugged terrain. But
I looked back on that trailer, and one of the things that I noticed was like the rock texturing. Like the rock texturing was just perfect.
Yes, photorealistic.
That looks like a rock. That looks like, it's not like a gaming
We've achieved
rock.
it. Rocks. We've achieved it.
Rocks. Yeah, exactly. But then the rocks, the water, and I'm like, okay, this is all CGI rendered in game. I'm like, that is absolutely
when it like transitioned into the water, I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
So the something else about the okay, first off, the new Xbox is called Xbox Series X, which this will be in the cons, but I just wanted to let you guys know in case you forgot. But a cool thing, this is cool. I don't know if they confirmed this or if it was a rumor, but I think it's been confirmed so far that the new Xbox is going to heavily lean into xCloud for game installs, because this generation games take an eternity to start up. So I think one of the solutions that they're going to be doing is when you pop in a game and it's installing and it's updating and all that stuff, it'll give you the option to stream it right then and there from xCloud, and then whenever the game is ready, it'll just kind of transition into the disc.
Right.
So it'll kind of go from like 1080p to like 4K. So you'll be like, oh, okay, the game I'm playing locally now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty cool idea, but there's something else too that there is, before we, after we talk about the look, there is something about the series. So, but let's talk about the look.
Besides the mini fridge, it is designed to, before I rip into it, it is designed to look like a gaming PC tower, and the top of it is grooved inward to eliminate noise, apparently. but it just comes off looking as like either one, a portable speaker, or two,
Yeah.
a tall Ouya. that I was like, oh, the Ouya.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and when I saw the dimensions and I saw the size, I was like, "That's the dev kit, right?"
They're like, no,
that's the dev kit. No, that's not the dev kit. That's the actual product.
Here's a brick. Make it a console.
Where do you get, like, okay, who designed this? And we're like, "Yep, done. There it is."
Yeah, I know. Where are you gonna put this?
It was
Like, entertainment stands aren't tall; they're wide.
Yeah, but even wide, even if they turn around and like, oh yeah, it works perfectly fine sideways as well. It's still. Did you see the scale to the controller?
Yeah, it's massive. It is. I'm calling it a mini fridge for a reason.
Yeah, a mini fridge, a paper shredder. What else?
Cheese grater. If you want to go back to that,
grater, a dumpster. Like, man, like I need a forklift to put this into my bloody house.
Like, when you go to Best Buy, they're gonna be like, "Hey, do you want Geek Squad to come home and install it?" Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, please. I ask you, like, please.
Dear God, please.
like the size of that thing. How many ports are on the back? What is?
I'm scared. I'm scared to look at
I'm
the back.
terrified. Like, the thing is so massive. Could you imagine this giant shipment of these things, a pallet? They drop a pallet. They're like, oh yeah, here's all your consoles. Oh, we got a whole pallet full. Open it up, it's 3. Oh,
You get a dolly and you can only move one box at a time.
like, I understand function over form because I'm about function over form. I get that.
Oh yeah.
But come on, you couldn't have. Like, it looks like an obelisk.
So one thing I'm worried about is at the store I work at, we do repairs on consoles and controllers. Mm-hmm. This thing looks like it's going to be a nightmare because for every console in the world, you set it down, unscrew it, and you pop the top off. If this thing is long ways, are we going to have to like slide off the shell and hope everything stays together like the GameCube?
Oh please. Oh
God. Oh God. All right, I'm going to do a repair. Everyone put your hands around it. Make sure everything stays in place.
It doesn't make, like, I understand it needing to be big because I am going to talk my concerns about. I'm going to touch a little bit on the PS5 too because I do want to ask your opinion on this. I'll give mine, and I want you to talk to chime in too because the first off, the name
Yes
is awful.
Yes.
They
so
can't.
I'm not.
It doesn't even make sense.
I'm not sure if you saw this, but when I saw it, I saw some listings first under some code names, and then I saw the real name, and I was like, okay, it all makes sense. So for the longest time, the new Xbox was called Project Scorpio, and we all knew that. A couple days ago, was it? Oh, not Scorpio.
Scarlet.
Scarlet. My bad. It's the same name. But basically, a couple days ago or a week ago, there's a listing for 2 other Xbox consoles. Right. One was codenamed Anaconda, and one was codenamed Lockhart. Mm-hmm. So we know Lockhart is going to be the cheaper version. So
correct.
The Series X, the one that was announced, is going to have, I think, 12 or 16 teraflops of power, which ultimately, just so you know, that doesn't really mean anything. That's just a term they throw out there. So just to humor them, it's got like, let's say at max 12 teraflops. The Lockhart will have, I think, 4 or 6. So it's a little bit beefier than the 1X. And then the Anaconda is going to be the big boy. So I am scared of pricing.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That I want to talk to you about that because so the Series X, obviously there's a Series X, and they're probably going to have like the Series S or something like that, right? And terrible acronyms because, I mean, imagine trying to tell your parents or when a grandma goes to come to the store and asks for an Xbox, right? You don't know which one you want, right? I mean, the naming is just absolutely awful.
The naming is awful, but I will say it is better than what we have now. Because this naming makes it seem like a brand of products. So it's like, which Xbox? The Series A, X, or Y? And it's like, oh, I think he wanted the X, the Series X. Well, if you go to a store and it's like, I need the Xbox One something, like SX Y Z something like that. It's a thing.
Yeah, I get that, but this is where I'm concerned about pricing too, but this is something else that I want to talk to you about. So we know that dev kits are bigger than their actual consoles. We know this. This is something, right?
Oh yes, I remember the PS3 one weighing like it weighed stupid amount. It was so heavy.
Right. Now, I want to ask you something. Now, this is something that I have multiple concerns with, and I'll voice them, and I want to hear your take on it. So, look at the new Series X, the size of it. Now, you've seen, there was a bunch of leaks, and there was even actual photos of the dev kits for the PlayStation 5.
Yes, right? The cockroach arena.
Right. But you've seen them to scale, right? You've seen them to scale with the controller.
They're not that big.
Yeah, the Series X is bigger than the dev kit.
I feel so bad for the developers who had to use. Okay, yeah. Here, you can't see this. You can't see this in the podcast, but I'm sending you a picture. It's a mock-up of the PS5 dev kit and the Series X. That's tiny. Right. That's really tiny.
Right, exactly. And this is something that I am nervous about in terms of performance in both ways, because first off, what is the performance of PlayStation? Because like the size of Xbox is ridiculous. Like that is obscene. Now, it might need to be that size to be able to create those type of graphics, right?
Yeah.
But if it's that size, okay, and the PlayStation's already had leaks as to how much it's going to cost, and the range is $450 US. $450 US.
You know, that's understandable.
Reasonable. That's reasonable for what it's supposed to be doing.
But the Xbox, my God.
But look at this. But think about the size of the PS5 dev kit, and then that's the dev kit, and the dev kit, it gets smaller, right? The actual console is smaller than the actual dev kit, okay? The Xbox is ginormous. What is in that Xbox? And how is it that size? Because if it's that size, it's powerful. And how does it compare to the PlayStation 5? And then it might be double the power of the PlayStation 5, and that's entirely possible. But then how does it compare in terms of price? And that's what you mentioned earlier, was price.
I'm also wondering if we're entering the generation where the prices of games are going to go up too.
It's possible.
Because for the longest time, N64 and PS2 games at max they were like $40,
right?
And now they're $60.
I mean, it's already gone up in Canada. We were $80 now. We're $80.
Really?
Yep. It was originally $59.99 when I was a kid, and then it went up to $69.99, and now it's up to $79.99. And yeah, that's like Spyro for me wasn't. Spyro for me after before tax was $53.49.
So yeah, that's another thing. Some games are going cheaper. Like a lot of games are coming out. USD is 40 USD.
Right. They're trying to, and I like seeing that. I like seeing a diverse price range now for really good games. But I'm looking at this console, and there is no way that I don't see it unless Xbox is going to take such a hit and such a hard impact to be able to try to sell these consoles. Like they might be going for broke if they want to compete with PlayStation, because I understand that they are going to be releasing the Project Lockhart, which is a down-res version, but people are not going to be going for that down-res version. People are going to be going for the Series X. And because if the Lockhart, from the stats that we've seen, it's just a light update to the One X, right? It's just going to be like, okay, it's just going to run minimum enough to be able to play the new games, but not, necessarily as fantastic.
Not crazy resolution or frame rate. Maybe capped 4K or 2K to 4K 1080 or 2K to 4K 30 FPS. That's what I'm expecting.
Right. So people are going to want to go for the X, right? Because I'm looking at the X. Man, I don't see it any lower than 600, 700. I mean, if the PlayStation is supposed to be 450, right? So I mean, at this point, I think you and I both agree in terms of power, this One X is probably going to be more powerful than the PS5.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
I think the PS5 is going to be more powerful than the Lockhart.
You think the base? So you think the base PS5 will be more powerful?
Right. So I think the base PS5 is going to be much. It's going to be. It's going to be weird. It's going to be for next generation. It's going to be the budget is going to be the budget is going to be the Series S. I'm going to call it that because that's what they've been going with, the Slim, the S, whatever. The Series S, which will be Lockhart. Then it's going to be the PS5, and then it's going to be the Series X because I don't see how PlayStation with a form factor that size can fit that much power. There's just no way.
So here's another one. Do you think that Sony's going to release a Pro model with the base model like at launch, like PS5 Pro?
Possibly. That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried about pricing now because I do want to look into the Xbox, but not at its current rate.
I mean, that form factor is awful, man. Like, they need to come out with something, because the thing is that why would I spend $700 on this when my PC can run the same games with Game Pass even, right?
Yeah, and I will say a big leading factor into both of these consoles would be backwards compatibility. Because if this Xbox is backwards compatible with everything, then that's a big thing. But knowing
it is backwards compatible. I read it is backwards compatible with the it said fully backwards compatible. That's what it said.
With the Xbox One, I assume.
Yeah, I believe so.
So my concern is with the other games because
the 360 and the original.
Yes, because Microsoft released them in waves because they had to basically test them and recode them to work with the new infrastructure. Right. And PlayStation is kind of doing the same thing with the PS2 games because they're a lot easier. But let's say for example, Xbox Series X comes out, it's fully backwards compatible with the One, and like a couple of 360 and Xbox One games. PS5 comes out, fully backwards compatible, even PS3. That's it.
That's going to be
game over.
If they hit the PS3 cell architecture is a nightmare. But if Sony has figured out a way to emulate that through their drivers and through their the graphics cards that they're running with AMD, if they can find a way for it to work perfectly and they can get it to where it's backwards compatible to 1, 2, and 3, because most 3 games are now lost because the cell architecture was terrible. And but if they can bring back 3, man, and also there's this bloody trademark that they have where it's basically going to be able to, from what I remember correctly, how the trademark works, which is absolutely insane, is that you put the disc in, it actually like ingests the disc, puts it digitally onto the PlayStation, and then remasters it like texture wise.
I remember seeing that patent, and if that's the case, I'm going to be having a lot of fun with that because, as you know, the new series I'm working on, that's actually going to help out a lot.
Right, exactly. And if you think about it too, like you're going to be getting gaming experience because I've heard they got a graphics upgrade for the original Red Dead Redemption. They play on the One X, and they said it looks fantastic. Apparently, it looks great, but allegedly the PlayStation is going to be able to do that just by ingesting the disc. It's going to be able to understand, okay, here are the textures, here's the things, and we're going to be able to up-res it to 4K and make it all natively 4K and for it to look good.
And I assume there's going to be options to disable it because, like we know, not all games work. And if you are familiar with PC and emulation, this will be more in line with how Dolphin does it. Because you can easily, in Dolphin emulator on GameCube and Wii games, you can easily up-res the textures to 8K if you want to. Right. And it works. It makes the game a lot more clear, but some textures, aren't made for those higher resolutions. Right. So they don't look that great.
Right. It might have to be certain games you need to be required to be hooked up to the internet for the first time, so that it might be, there's a patch that comes along with it that has these fixes for this specific game or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I have no idea how this is going to work. This is something, this console war has just gotten very, very interesting. But Xbox, please find a new form factor. Please.
We'll have to wait for Lockhart. We have to see what Lockhart does.
We have to see what Lockhart does. We have to see how it works. We have to see how the PS5 works.
I need to see the PS5. I just need to see the PS5.
Yeah. I want my PlayStation 5. So now we're going to be finishing off with something that's touching a little bit of a sensitive subject, probably for Shemp, but also for me as well.
Yeah. Two groups of specific people.
Yeah, two groups. The Sonic Animation Company. So one of the companies that led a lot of the CGI and the special effects and all that for the new Sonic movie, it shut down. The company shut down.
And before the movie even came out.
Mm-hmm. And they've worked on huge projects. This was like their first. They worked on The Lion King.
They were established in the 70s, by the way.
Yeah, this was a big company. Now, we read that it was owned by Technicolor, right? This company.
Yes.
So, why don't you talk about what your point of view, and I'll talk about my point of view as being someone who's worked in this exact industry, this visual effects industry.
So, for me, it's because the thing is, specifically the Sonic movie is being worked on, like, I think 5 or 6 different animation studios,
which is normal.
A couple of them are like in-house Sega studios who worked on like animations for Sonic Unleashed and stuff like that.
Right.
But this company was called the Moving Picture Company, and they specifically were responsible for animating Sonic. They designed the new character and they reanimated all of it with Tyson Hesse or Hesse, something like that.
Heiss or whatever his name is.
Heiss. That sounds more right. Tyson Heiss. And they've won Academy Awards for like I think it was The Jungle Book, The Life of Pi, and another award for Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2. They've worked on a lot of things. And then, like, I think yesterday, it just kind of went away out of nowhere. And that's a big letdown because we've seen the new Sonic. They've worked on Detective Pikachu. That's a big one that they worked on too.
Yeah.
They've done amazing work. They've done extremely good. And to see all this talent just kind of pop away, like the company kind of pulled a Telltale in terms of, hey, we're shutting down. Oh, okay. And you, like you said, you have worked in this industry, this specific industry, in this specific country. Yes.
So, okay, so I'll explain something first. So, the company, if you're owned by another company, basically, if you're owned by them, what essentially happens is that they'll tell you, the head of that company will tell you, the head of the smaller company, what to do, right? So, what happened was that Technicolor owns these studios, and I want you guys listening, if you guys want to get into the visual effects industry, the film industry, or anything along the lines of that, it is very, very, very flaky. As in, you're not going to, if you think that you're going to be setting your roots down in one company, good luck. So I worked at a specific company. I don't want to name names because I don't want any targeting, any harassment, or anything along the lines like that to happen. But I worked at a company and I loved it there. I very much enjoyed it. I got to work on projects that were massive. I got to watch projects that were massive across the way. Like, oh, I'm working on a kid show. Oh, what are you working on? Oh, I'm working on Vikings.
Yeah, the one.
And then, oh yeah, what are you working on? The Expanse. Just one of the biggest sci-fi stuff on Amazon, crazy. And that was insane. That was absolutely insane to see that. And I got to be able to be under that roof and to be able to see that and to be able to see things build from just being gray blobs floating in nothingness into a space battle. Like, that's incredible to see that and see how it's built, and it's incredible. And I loved working there. I did. But this is something that is in the industry that is very, very common. And what it is layoffs. What companies do is they do a whole bunch of new hires. So a new project rolls in. They get hired for a new project. Let's say, we'll make an example. Let's say the Uncharted movie rolls up. Okay, and
Yes.
they hire company A, B, and C. And A, B, and C are all working on it together. One might be doing animating, one might be doing the modeling and rigging, and the other one might be doing the special effects, right? So it goes through a process. And what happens is when the project is coming to an end, when it's, the final touch-ups are happening, what happens is that if there's no new project on the way, what they do is they lay off all the new talent. All of them. Except for a select few. For a select few, maybe there were people that were outstanding, or maybe people that gave, everyone gave 100%, but these people gave 300%. They dedicated their life to their work to the point where they had no lives outside of work. They'll hold on to them, right? Mm-hmm. But then rehire a whole bunch of new people. Brand new, fresh-faced talent, and then project ends, lay them all off. Even when projects are still in the pipeline, you'll get layoffs, mass layoffs. So I was a witness to, I witnessed 3, and it was a part of 2 mass layoffs in total. So
unfortunately.
So, the first mass layoff I kind of saw coming, but they hired me as an employee there. So what happened was that because of that, I was able to get compensation pay, like unemployment, right?
Yeah.
Because they were taking my taxes off. But when I came back, they rehired me as an independent contractor. That's different. I have to pay my own taxes now. And if I get laid off, I get no unemployment. And 2 days before my son was born, they told me I'd be laid off in 2 weeks. And that one was a shock to me.
That still gets me.
That still gets me to this day. And I was so hurt by it. And I understand business is business, and I get it, and I get business is business. I get it, but I was so hurt because I was so soul crushed. Because the first time I could see it coming, there was no projects. There was nothing. The second time I was being told, oh yeah, we got projects coming. Don't worry. And then I got laid off 2 days before my son was born. I still remember the reaction. I'm not going to, just in case if this ever bites back somebody in the butt, and I don't want anyone to lose their job if anybody from that studio knows who I'm talking about, but there were people that approached me. They're like, yeah, did you hear about the layoffs? I was like, yeah, I was a part of it. And they looked at me, they're like, what? You have your son is your wife is due in 2 days. I'm like, I know.
I can't imagine that.
Oh, dude. So what my point is that these people at the Sonic movie experienced the exact same thing, except on a bigger scale. And that bigger scale is that because of the fact that the animation company was owned by Technicolor turned and said, okay, we're going to lay all these people off. But they said that the studio shut down, but they don't know how many people they lost. Well, wouldn't you say, okay, all people? No. They take the talent that they that stood out, and they redistributed them to other studios, and then they get rid of all the new talent.
So the people were there for maybe not even 3 months. Just
possibly be there for a year, 2 years, maybe sometimes a year and a half, depending on the production and how long it takes. And that is the reality that we live in. And that is the reality of how the visual effects industry works. And it's ruthless, it's cutthroat, and it was something that I didn't even know about. And if you don't live in a place like, let's say, Toronto, because Toronto, you get laid off one place, you walk down the street, you knock on the door, and there's another studio right there, right? Or LA, right? Where, I got laid off I got laid off at Universal. I'll go to literally another 800 of the production companies that are all on the same road. Right?
Even YouTube ones, YouTube channels are VFX teams, like Corridor Crew.
Yeah, they just go down and okay, well, that's all. We go next. That's it. But these people are in Vancouver, which, yes, is a visual effects studio, but an entire studio shut down. And that's huge.
Yeah, that's like the entire company, because they've been here for a while. So just Technicolor kind of shutting a studio down and redistributing the talent. That's not like just this. This is a multi-award winning company who have done amazing things. Like, say what you want about The Lion King, that animation, the visual effects of the entire movie was fantastic.
Right.
And I'm equally as excited to see their work on the Sonic movie. But I don't know. I hope everyone, if there's someone part of that team that's actually listening, first off, hello. Second, I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone there is doing well. I pray that they don't have to go what you went through. Yeah, because even though it made you a better person and you're in a better place with what you do, it's still not fun, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
It was not fun at all going through what I went through, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, because the amount of stress that was felt and the amount of pain, the amount of set, because they always say, "Oh, don't take it personal." Of course, you're going to take it personal. It's your work. It's your, you stay late to make sure the stuff gets done. At one point, I stayed at my job till almost midnight, working because it had to get done that day, and it was sent out late and all these things, but we made sure we stayed and we made sure we got it done, and we made sure it was just me and another co-host, another co-worker of mine. He was a higher up than me. He was a head, but he stayed with me, and he lived an hour and a half away, and we were there till midnight working on an episode, right? And that was intense. That was harsh, and you pour your blood and sweat and tears into these projects, and you try your best to impress people, and you try your best to make a difference in the product that you're working on so that you can stay. And that is what's terrifying, is that you try to figure out how to leave your mark, even if it risks your job, so that you can stay.
And it's more of like these industries are more competitive than like retail, because in retail, you come in, you do your job, you leave. If you do good, you'll get promoted. And the film industry and the gaming industry, even, and especially VFX, you're working to make a statement. And if you don't impress someone, then you're probably not going to stay, because they probably want to fill that hole with someone who's going to do better than you. So if you're not meeting their expectations, then you're not going to last there. You'll probably go to another you'll probably go to another company that's lesser known, and they work on exclusively soap operas, and they don't get paid that much. And that's probably I don't know, even they may not like you, because it's so competitive. It's such a cluster.
It is. It's really shockingly competitive. It really is. And it's something that I remember very, very clearly. And it was something that was scary to deal with, that, at times there were, new hires looking at each other like, I have to outperform the other, or I have to do this and I have to do that. And it's also very political. You have to be able to know how to impress the bosses a certain way. There were some jokes that I could talk to one boss about that I couldn't talk to the other boss about. There were certain subjects that I could talk to one head and not to the other head, because you had to learn how each one operated and how each one worked to be able to impress them. And I like, for example, the one head that I work with, we'll call him Dave. The one head I worked with, he was a hothead, and he was a nice guy, but his temper would go from 0 to 10 very quickly. And all I knew was that when he was mad, you left him alone. That was it. When he was mad, you don't pitch ideas to him. You don't pitch an idea to him. You don't come and ask for help from him. If you see he's stressed, leave him alone. But it doesn't take long for him to calm back down. He'll calm back down, and then you go talk to him, right? The other head, we'll call him Steve. He was so busy. Like, the guy was literally like, if he'd be walking around the studio floor and he would be just like on his phone firing 4 emails off to a head of one company while checking the footage of another company. He was the project manager. The man was a machine. And I knew with him, you had to be quick. You had to be, in order for me to be able to get help from him, it had to be, what's the problem? Right?
And then immediately like, all right, here you go, fix it.
Right, exactly. It's like, that was it. It was just no small talk, no any of that. It's just, what's the problem immediately, because the guy was busy. Nice guy when you got him to calm down. Cool, quiet, calm guy. But that's the industry, man. And that's how, and obviously someone over at the animation studio didn't impress Technicolor enough. The studio as a whole didn't impress Technicolor enough. Otherwise, the studio would still be open.
And that's just the unfortunate side. And the studio is closed down, like closed.
Yeah,
so
done.
It's not coming back. So that's just another great name.
It's just dissolved.
Gone.
Just dissolved away. The talent redistributed, name dissolved. And it's really unfortunate. It's really sad, because I'm looking at the Sonic movie, and the Sonic movie was a testament at one point. The Sonic movie was a testament of how, fans could come together and be able to bring change, to be able to bring, hey, we don't like this, and a company listening.
Yeah, right? That's the big thing. Good on Paramount.
Good on Paramount, right? And it's not Paramount's fault that the studio shut down either.
They just commissioned. They're just people who hired people to do the work. But
now apparently there was a lot of talk of crunch time. That is Paramount's fault. That is 100% Paramount's fault when it comes to crunch. And crunch is inevitable. Luckily for us, we didn't hit too much crunch, or maybe I just was a part of it and I just didn't know. The crunch hours were really, and I'll give you an example too of what makes crunch even worse. So I'm going to explain this to you, then we'll wrap up the stream, because we are going a little bit long-winded, and I'm sorry I went long-winded about the visual effects, because I'm passionate about it. And
that's good. Real quick, just to let people know, if visual effects is your passion, we're not trying to down talk you.
No.
Do what you want to do. We want you to be prepared.
Yeah, just be prepared to make your mark immediately. Hit the ground running. You want to do visual effects, hit the ground running. Don't,
you need to show that you're passionate.
Right. So here is how the hours worked at my studio. Now, I don't know how it works at other studios, but, this is how it worked at my studio. Now, if you were given a certain amount of time to get something done. Now, if you didn't get it done for some unforeseen reason, whether it be because you were sick, whether it be because you had to help with another project, whatever it was, and the due date was that day, it had to be done for that day.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse. No excuses, it goes. Now, if you asked for overtime, there was only a certain amount of hours dedicated per week for overtime for the whole studio. Now we're working. We could be working on anywhere between 2 to 5 projects all at once, right? So it might be 3 people working on one project, 20 people working on another, and 30 working on a different project, right? It could be 3 projects at once, all with different heads, all running at different developments, right?
Mm-hmm.
If one part of one project fell behind, let's say one project, I'll give you this an example. We needed storyboards because someone botched the storyboards on one of the projects. And so we need to have one of our in-house artists to rebuild the storyboards from the ground up, right?
Oh, uh-huh.
So he required a bunch of overtime because he had to do his regular duties and this board on top of that. So he's got a lot of work he's got to get done, right? Well, he required almost 5 hours a day additional paid, and they gave it to him. But then I approached because I needed an extra 3 hours on one project because of something happening, and they said, no, you can't have that because all the hours have already been eaten up by him.
That just sounds too toxic. That just sounds like it's playing favorites. Like, all right, there's a set amount of hours, you guys fight for it.
Well, it's almost priority, I guess, but it was it was very confusing to me. I didn't understand it. Usually they let off, like, if you needed just like an extra hour or two, they didn't mind that. But if you were asking, like, I need an extra like 3-4 hours, that's when concerns started to come in. But then this is where I also didn't understand it, is I was paid salary, but if I didn't put in all the hours, I didn't get paid a certain amount.
Really?
Yeah, so I couldn't. So it wasn't hourly, because if it was hourly, then if I stayed the extra 2 hours, I would automatically get paid for those 2 hours. Or they would send me home saying, no, don't stay for the 2 hours, go home. But I reached the 40 hours per week. And then when I reached the 40 hours per week, what would happen is I get my standard pay. But if, let's say, I missed a day, they would dock my pay as if I was working hourly, as if I didn't work those.
Oh my God.
So I was utterly confused. I didn't get it. I'm like, okay, am I salary or am I hourly?
It's just one thing after another.
Right, so I didn't, and so now imagine these studios, this is how they operate. Now, I'm not sure if every studio operates that way. Now, I don't know, but that is how my studio operated that I worked at, and it didn't make sense to me. Now, maybe I got it wrong, but it was just like you had to request for overtime, and they claimed that they gave you enough time to be able to get the projects done. And granted, they did. They gave me a lot of time, right? And that's a fair point. They gave me lots of time to be able to get. They gave me a week, and it's okay. That's fine. But sometimes things happen, whether it be you couldn't get in for a day because you were throwing up, if it was someone else was late down the pipeline, and because of that you were delayed. But if all the hours were eaten up, you couldn't ask for overtime for that week, and that was it.
Because ultimately the funding or your payment is coming from the other companies.
Right. So now what happens is that you still need to get the project done. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that the project still needs to get done, right? Even though you asked for the overtime, they said, no, it's unpaid, but we gave you enough time, so you got to get it done. Right. And I understand that to a point where it's like, okay, if someone's watching YouTube videos all day for 2 days, and then on the third, fourth, and fifth day, they're panicking, they ask for overtime to be able to get it done. No, like you messed up. You didn't manage your time correctly. But then so it caused you to have to try to manage your time correctly. But if you did manage your time correctly, but something unforeseen happened, and then on top of that, you didn't, it was a very, very stressful environment. It really was. But now imagine we're on the cusp of Christmas and people just got told their jobs are gone.
Yep.
We're 2 weeks from Christmas. Pay is
what they got.
Yeah. And the thing is that with a studio being closed down, no pay, no severance.
Yep. That's it.
It's just, you're out of a job. Think about that for a second. Think about, like, these people have families. These people have houses to uphold. These people and there was no warning. There was no, hey guys, we're not looking too good, you should start looking for a job. Hey guys, corporate's not happy, maybe you should guys really, I'll write a letter of recommendation, blah, blah, blah. No, it was just, and you don't got a job.
Yeah, like Telltale.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'll also say before we wrap that the website for the company that shut down is still up. So right. if you guys, if you're free, I'm sure it would mean a lot to them if you could go to the contact us section and just write a message like thanking them for what they've done, that you really appreciate. You hope they're doing okay. Maybe find the names of people that work there, reach out to them, make sure they're doing
Twitter
okay, thank them. Because nothing makes someone feel better than saying, hey, you worked on this and I really liked it. I really appreciate your work and I hope you do good in the future.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people really do appreciate. So sad to end on a depressing note, but it is what it is. That's the industry. Some Wumpa times we end happy and joking. Some we end a little bit depressing. But thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Wumpa Time. Make sure to catch us on Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify. What else do we got? Am I missing anything?
iTunes, Google Music.
We're everywhere.
And anything that you can put your ear holes on, we're there.
We're there in your ear holes. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to tune in next week for the next episode of Wumpa Time. My name is Canadian Guy A, and I'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.